Hello everyone, welcome to my channel What I Think Of. So what I think of UFC 267 YanBłachowiczVsGloverTeixeira versus Glover Teixeira. So now it's time for main card, and in the first fight in the main card was between Magomed Ankalaev and Volkan Ozdemir. It was a light heavyweight bout. Magomed Ankalaev won easily. The fight went to 3 rounds, and in the end, it was unanimous decision by judges. What happened when first round, Magomed Ankalaev, being a very good fighter, he is the sort of fighter. I mean, he has a good ground game as well as good boxing game. He is an all-round excellent player, one of the best players in the UFC. So when he dominated the first round, then in the second and third round, Ozdemir just went into his shell. I don't know what happened to Ozdemir. He was just afraid. And actually, Ozdemir, probably in the second round, he got hit on his eyebrows. There was a very deep cut by a punch from Ankalaev. So that also had something to do with it. But ever since Ankalaev got the first round comprehensively, in the second and third round, Ozdemir just had no answer. I mean, he just went into his shell and he just, I don't know, gave up that this is not going to be his fight. So Magomed Ankalaev is one of the best fighters in UFC, in the world, I would say. I mean, who has a good ground game as well as a good boxing game, all round. He's an all-round fighter and one of the best fighters in the world. So yeah, it was on the cards, and Ozdemir just, I don't know what happened to him. In the end, it was a one-sided affair. Yeah. So that was the first fight in the main card. So let us talk about second bout in the main event between Khamzat Chimaev and Jingliang. Oh, what a dominant performance by Khamzat Chimaev. Talk about dominant performance. This was I would say with capital the and capital D, the dominant performance that you can get. Oh, in the first round, just before the end of first round, Khamzat Chimaev got Li Jingliang. I'm not able to pronounce his name. At the start of the first round, what Khamzat Chimaev did, he dominantly took down Li. I will call him Li. That's his second name I'm not able to pronounce. In the early moments of the first round, Khamzat took down Li in style. And when he was taking him down, and when Khamzat was taking Li down, actually Khamzat was talking, I think he was talking to Dana White. Unbelievable. Khamzat was so much confident in his abilities that he just went berserk. He was just shouting to Dana White or some other guy that, see, I took him down. And then throughout the length of first round, just Khamzat did not let his clinch go away. He did not allow Li to get away. And in the end, Khamzat did a rear naked choke and really knocked him out. He knocked him out with the rear naked choke. Li was just knocked out with the rear naked choke. It was so tight. The grip of the Khamzat was so tight that, Li was not able even to just tap out. He was knocked out. That is what you call a dominant performance. This Khamzat Chimaev is a force to reckon with. I think he should now, what he is right now, he is not seeded, I believe. Yeah. But give him a fight in the top 10 or top 5. I think he'll be able to do very well. He did superbly. What a dominant first round submission come knockout result for him. Wow. Okay, the next fight in the main card was between Alexander Volkov and Marcin Tybura. Alexander Volkov before the fight was number 5 seed and Marcin Tybura was number 8 seed. It was a heavyweight bout. The fight was won by Alexander Volkov. It went to third round and judges unanimously favored Alexander Volkov. What happened? The first and third round belonged to Alexander Volkov and second round belonged to Marcin Tybura. It was not an interesting fight. They both were heavyweights. I don't know, they just were in their shell or something, I don't know. Not interesting fight. Both of them were, I don't know, reserved, fearful of each other. This fight could have been way, way better, but it is what it is. Uninteresting fight, but nonetheless, Alexander Volkov won. Okay, the next fight in the main card was between Islam Makhachev and Dan Hooker. Before the fight, Islam Makhachev was number 5 seed and Dan Hooker was number 6 seed. See, even before this fight started, I knew Islam Makhachev will win. I was sure of that 99% out of 100%. I knew Dan Hooker is not going to make it. But I did not know that in the first few moments, in the first few seconds, like within the first minute or so, he will lose. That goes to show everyone that how good Islam Makhachev is, He's Khabib number 2. Yes, he is Khabib number 2. He is Khabib in another body. I think Khabib is the only one who can beat Islam Makhachev. That's for sure. And the way he won, what he did, Islam Makhachev, he tried a lazy punch to the head of Dan Hooker. Actually, he was about to take Dan Hooker down. See, deceit. That's how you deceive your opponent. Take a lazy punch at your opponent and actually just take him down. Dan Hooker, when he was about to take that shot, Dan Hooker stepped backwards. And there he created some room for Islam to take him down. And from that point onwards, it was all Islam. And he did a Kimura lock in the end. And Dan Hooker tapped out. Yeah. Dan Hooker seemed to be not happy. Of course, the stakes are high, but Dan Hooker has to, Dan Hooker has to realize here, Islam is an exceptional player. He is Khabib number 2. So, Dan Hooker seemed, when the fight started, first round started, Dan Hooker seemed a bit, one gets overawed by the occasion. So Dan Hooker, seemed to be a bit overawed. What you do when you are an underdog and you face an opponent, an exceptional opponent like Islam Makhachev, you just don't go into shell. You just take it to your opponent. Dan Hooker should have gone in the first round, all guns blazing, knocking him out, punching him with fearful fists, punching him with hitting him with heavy punches and all this thing he should have done. Instead, he started the fight a little bit careful. When you have an exceptional opponent like that, you never go into your shell. You just take it to him. You just take it to that exceptional opponent. Force him to change his game. So Dan Hooker started careful and Islam said, okay, this is my day, another day that I'm going to have. Before the fight, Islam had 20-1 record. After the fight, he has now 21 win and just 1 defeat in his whole MMA career. Highly exceptional career of highly exceptional skilled fighter. Wow. When somebody is that good in grappling, ground game, like Islam Makhachev is, then you do reverse. You do boxing game with him. Dan Hooker should have come out all guns blazing, punching him, boxing and all these things, but he didn't. So, but in the end, it is what it is. Okay, let's talk about the co-main event, the interim bantamweight championship between Petr, number 1 seed, and Corey Sandhagen, number 3 seed. Petr, as expected or as expected by most people, became the interim champion, bantamweight. I mean, Petr has shown he is an architect. He is an architect. He sets off his opponent. First round was won by Corey Sandhagen. He threw a lot of shots, Corey did. Petr actually studied Corey Sandhagen in the first round. He saw him, took punches from him, everything, and he knew his game. Corey Sandhagen moved a lot. Like a ballerina in the whole ring, he was moving. Petr studied him in the first round, and from second round onwards, Petr, came into his own. And second round, he did very good, Petr. And in third round, his, what he did, Petr used his back spinning punch that landed perfectly on the face of Corey Sandhagen, and Corey Sandhagen was stunned. And from that point onwards, Petr hammered Corey Sandhagen in the third round. Really hammered him with a lot of punches and with occasional kicks. Petr kicks are very, very good, extremely good. And in the fourth round also, Petr dominated. But in the fifth round, Corey Sandhagen came back by some extent, but not to that extent that he would win the fight. So at the end, it was unanimous decision that Petr was bantamweight champion, interim champion should I say. Petr is an architect. He studies his opponent, and then within the fight, he identifies the plan he's going to adopt to take down his opponent. He's an architect. That's what I would call him. He's a fighter who, studies his opponent and devises a plan right on that time. So, congrats to Petr. Yeah. Let's now talk about the main event. Main event was light heavyweight championship between reigning defending champion, light heavyweight champion YanBłachowiczVsGloverTeixeira versus Glover Teixeira. Well, guys and girls, whoever is watching, we have a new light heavyweight UFC champion, and that is Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira, 42 years of age, so much experience. I mean, he has 30 plus MMA fights under his shoulder. So much experience. He has used all of it. The fight went till second round. Immediately from the first round, Glover Teixeira put pressure on YanBłachowicz by doing his takedown game. And he did take YanBłachowicz down and had a thumping performance right in the first round. He landed some punches while he was over the top of YanBłachowicz, and somehow YanBłachowicz survived the first round. Then came the second round, and in second round, even though it was dominated by YanBłachowicz, landed some really good punches on Glover Teixeira, but at the end of perhaps it was the mid part of second round or at the end of second round, Glover Teixeira was able to land some really hefty blows, punches on YanBłachowiczand he was, feeling the heat of those punches. And then soon after that, Glover Teixeira took YanBłachowicz down, and did the rear naked choke. And YanBłachowicz immediately tapped out. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe the clinch was so much severe. I don't know. I have no idea. But he is a champion, and immediately when a defending champion taps out, something must have gone wrong with that clinch. That really hurt him. So that is why he immediately tapped out. So basically, if you look at this fight, I would say that YanBłachowicz had no answer to Glover Teixeira's takedown game. He was not able to do a defense for the takedown attempts of Teixeira. He's a big guy, and so is Glover Teixeira. But YanBłachowicz is a bigger guy than Glover Teixeira, and still he was not able to defend the takedown attempt from Glover Teixeira. But all in all, it was Glover Teixeira day, and it was not the day of YanBłachowicz. And I would say, anyone would say, Glover Teixeira easily became the champion. He easily won the fight. And if you look at this, if anybody thinks about this point really easily, the way YanBłachowicz immediately tapped out within 2 seconds, I think, in those 2 seconds, Glover Teixeira put the rear naked choke, and within those 2 seconds, YanBłachowicz tapped out. It is what it is, Yeah, you cannot be champion all the time. But I don't know. Maybe the way Glover Teixeira started the first round, YanBłachowicz went into his shell. Why? Again, I would say so many in this fight, in this card also, that so many fighters, even today in this fight, in this card, went into their shell. A fighter, when he goes into his shell, either he is afraid or he is overawed by the event or enormity or the stakes. I don't know. But it is what it is. Congrats to Glover Teixeira being 42 and being the champion. That's a dream, for everyone, for anyone. That's a dream for anyone to get accomplished. Anyway, I'm out of here. Adios, amigos.